Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Bites. Take a look. We start here with our meme of the week. Well, I got to tell you, folks, what you see on HGTV, it's not real. The people aren't real. The processes aren't real. The budgets aren't real. Definitely, the process is not real. And it freaks me out every time I walk into a house with a couple and one or both of them tell me how much they watch HTV and how much they got to handle on real estate these days. And it happens more than you would think, guys. It happens far too often. Do not watch HTV and think you're getting an education into the world of real estate. It's not. You're not figuring out anything watching that stuff. You actually got to be in it every day to know what's happening. Nevertheless, thank you guys for coming back. This is episode 42 here, Real Estate Bites. We come at you live every Friday on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X, bringing you insight into the marketplace, insight into the industry. We discuss some local statistics. And if you can make it through all that, at the end of the program, I like to show the biggest sale of the week in Lorain County for the preceding week. And this one is a good one. This one's fun. So stick around for that one. It's fun. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Loan officers. I'm speaking directly to you guys here this week. I'm asking you a gigantic favor. When you look at a buyer's finances, when you look at their situation and you think in your head, wow, this one's going to be really tight. Everything's going to have to fall into place perfectly. But if it does, I can make it happen. They're not ready, man. They're not ready. Okay. Buyers, most specifically first-time home buyers. If you're talking to your loan officer and he's telling you how tight it's going to be and how everything needs to fall into place and but he can make it happen or she can make it happen, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're not ready. You're not ready to buy, okay? When it's that tight, when a loan officer is reviewing the financials of their prospective buyer client, and you got to go through that process in your head or on paper about, boy, it's going to be really, really hard, but I can make it happen. Please stop right there. Do not try to be the hero. Our job as fiduciaries in this industry, our job is to take care of these folks. Our job is to get them across the finish line, okay? Not sell them hopes and dreams that might get dashed just as easily or even more easily than if they actually get to the finish line, okay? If it's that tight, they're not ready. Please, instead of telling them you can get them there, how about work out a game plan to make sure that in the future, if they take care of a certain few steps, they're actually going to be able to complete the purchase and get into that home, okay? I have seen this happen way too many times in the last year where a buyer puts a contract across to my seller and, at first glance, everything looks good. I've said it before, FHA loans, VA loans don't scare me. Buyers asking for concessions, seller concessions to help pay for closing costs, that stuff doesn't scare me. But if it's so tight on that side, and this is something that, the buyer's agent and the loan officer, they never tell this stuff to me at the beginning of a deal when I check in with them. They tell me, yeah, they're good. But if it's that tight and we go through this process and something small happens and that buyer's deal falls through, it creates chaos. And look, if you're Mr. and Mrs. first-time home buyer, and the deal doesn't go through, yeah, there's a ton of disappointment, right? Maybe some tears shed, whatnot, a ton of disappointment. But in the end, your situation probably doesn't change. You probably just renew your lease at the apartment or you tell mom and dad, hey, look, I got to stick around for a few more months while I try to get things figured out, right? If you're the loan officer who's trying to underwrite this loan for a buyer who's not ready, and it falls through for you, damn, it didn't work. That's too bad. I feel bad about that. Let me get back to my desk and the next deal that I've been working on. Okay, let me tell you what happens to the seller in this situation. They got everything packed up. They've taken days off of work in order to move to their next spot. They've got friends and family who have likely requested off work, who they may have rented movers or moving trucks or a U-Haul, something like this. Time, energy, money spent out of pocket getting prepared for this next move. They might have another deal in place. Oftentimes, they got another deal in place. They're selling this home and they're going somewhere else. And that deal is dependent upon them closing this, okay? If you get a buyer client and it's super tight at the outset and you're trying to play the hero and that little thing happens, that little straw that would break the camel's back happens, and it does. It's happened way too often this last year of business. You are really putting people out. And if you don't care that you're affecting people that way, you should not be in this business, okay? You should find a different industry where people don't count on you and your work, all right? It is a much better practice when you take their financials at the beginning of the deal and it looks super tight like that, instead of saying, you know what, if it all falls into place, we can make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to be the hero. It's a much better practice to say, listen, guys, it's too tight. We can't trust this. Let's put together a game plan. If you do these certain small steps over the next few months, then it goes from being tight to being a certainty that we can get you into this house, right? Stop writing loans and pre-approving people who really aren't ready to buy. Because when you give them that pre-approval and they go shopping and they get under contract and there's a seller on the other side who's got the sale of their home and the purchase of the new home and their entire family and their entire world flipped upside down waiting for this deal to happen and it doesn't, you put people out in a real, real bad way. And that is not acting as a fiduciary. That is not being responsible. That is not doing your job to guide and lead our clients from the beginning to the finish line and beyond, okay? That's my bitch for today. A little different take than usual, but I'm just seeing this all the time. This is a message specifically to loan officers, but buyer clients, I'm telling you, if your loan officer is talking like that at the beginning about how tough and how tight, you're not ready, okay? Backtrack a little bit, work with that person, put together a game plan to make sure you are completely prepared to purchase a home. Agents, if you're having a conversation with the LO and they're telling you how tight and how tough it is, it's our job to advise our people that maybe now is not the time. Maybe we should put together a plan to make sure this thing isn't going to fall apart, that not everybody, buyers, sellers, whomever, are getting all prepared to close this deal and take this next giant step in their life, and then it falls apart, and there are the inevitable tears and chaos and heartbreak. Let's avoid that, guys. Come on, we can be better than that for sure. All right, let's jump into the statistics for this past week of real estate sales. This morning, there were 338 single-family units and condos, just like last week. 338 units for sale in Lorain County. There were 77 closed deals last week. The median square foot value was 1,812 square feet. The median home value was $250,000. The median square foot price was $169.68. You can see we're starting to creep up. The first quarter ended right there, $143.85 average median square foot value. And you can see from that point, we're kind of creeping up, guys. We're at nearly $170 a square foot this past week. Average days on market last week was 24. You can see also for the past month that the interest rates have gotten a little more friendly. We're still above 7 here at 7.02% for a 30-year conventional note. And then on to this fun big sale of the week that I promised you at the beginning of the show, $1.134 million on Stony Ridge and Avon. Let's take a look at this beauty. All right, so this house, I pass it every single day. whether it's just doing my day-to-day stuff on the way to the office, on the way back, whatever. I pass this house every single day, and I have noticed from the street how charming it is and how cute it is. But when I saw that it sold for 1.134 million, wow, I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. Let's take a look here. This house is 158 years old, built in 1866. Okay. 4-car garage is great. Big giant outbuilding, which is amazing. You guys are going to love this. Built in 1866 and sold at $369 a square foot. I mean, that's remarkable. It's slightly over 3 acres, 3,000 square foot home. Again, this is going to include the basement. That Realtor and Zillow, they both do that. In our MLS, when we input stuff, it asks for finished square feet above ground, finished square feet below ground, and these two aggregators of data combine those. So it's a touch misleading, but 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 finished square feet, 3.23 acres. Okay. $1.134 million. For some context, the house last week that sold for 1.25, if you remember that one was, I think, built 30 years ago, 40 years ago, instead of 158 years ago. And that was nearly 6,000 square feet all combined. So double the size of this, way more modern. But anyways, let's look at these pictures because this house is pretty cool. And the outbuilding is simply awesome. There you get a look. But, I mean, these beams up top here are original, right? These are 158-year-old beams. That's just incredible. Look at this place. I mean, the architectural design and the touches that these folks put in are remarkable. They're unique. They're beautiful. A corrugated steel ceiling in the kitchen. You got your arch ceilings, or your cathedral ceilings with the corrugated steel. Just adds this beautiful, classic sort of farmhouse look. Big kitchen, big island. Everything's high end, of course. But, when you take the stone counters and the cabinetry that's multicolored, the backsplash that's in there beautifully, you got oak finishes, you've got raw brick, you've got these beams and then the corrugated steel. I mean, what a beautiful mix of texture and color. This place is amazing. This is great. I love the fact that they built a bookshelf in what used to be an old doorway here in the office. This is really cool. Really cool place. And then you can see in the other living spaces, obviously they have modernized it to be very, very attractive. Beautiful master bath. Everything's all modern in there. You see, you got the boiler heat. The laundry room. These old farmhouse finishes. Look at that sink. It's awesome. Look at this basement. Look at this. Look at the basement. Look at that foundation. 158 years old. I'm seeing a foundation that looks like this in a house that sells for over $1 million blows my mind. This also blows my mind. This is the outbuilding. I mean, look at that picture, guys. I mean, that looks like a 3D rendering. That looks fake. But this building, the acreage, the 4-car garage. I mean, this is what really does it. This building probably is worth as much as the house. Okay. Got this beautiful patio. I mean, the way they have it set up for entertainment is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. You can see the fire pit out back, big outdoor fireplace, big patio, big bar. Let's get inside of this place. I'm wondering if this isn't included as finished square footage in that square foot price. This is the barn. Again, you basically, they've created a barn dominium here, right? This place is just amazing. It's amazingly done. You have this first floor entertainment area, theater seating, a bar. You can see the wine rack over here. entertainment space, the big pool, the billiard room. Upstairs, you've got an office and a lookout across the way. You see they've got a sauna built up here, their workout area. I mean, very, very unique. There's a picture of the whole property. Very unique. What an amazing place. That is the big sale of the week. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me once again. Next week, maybe not so exciting, but very important stuff. We're going to take a look at the auditor's website and just go through there and navigate about the different types of information you can find there that you might want to know about as regards to your property taxes, homestead exemptions, where to find this sort of information, and more. So until then, thank you for joining me once again. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. I love you, people.